All right, hey everybody, this is Bob. So glad to have you on. So I want you to tell me as you kind of start popping in over in the chat box. We have a chat box over on the side. And so I want you to tell me something really interesting that you learned today, maybe from the news or maybe from your kids' textbook as you're doing their homework with them, or maybe I don't know, something on social media that was really, really interesting that you saw. So I want you to just type in over in the chat box. Let me know something interesting that you learned today, something that you did not know when you woke up, but that you learned because one of your friends shared it on social media, or because you saw it on CNN or whatever, anything like that. So pop over to the chat box, throw something in there. Let me know. I want to learn something from you, and hopefully you're going to be learning something tonight as we kind of dive into the workshop. So I am super excited to kind of chat about what we're going to be chatting about tonight. I've been blogging for a long, long time, and I have a lot of blogger friends, a lot of professional blogger friends, and I love talking about blogging, and I love getting ideas from other bloggers. And some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight is just kind of like a total of just a lot of the mistakes that I've seen a lot of bloggers make, and honestly, a lot of the mistakes that I was making. And so anyway, so I'm really excited to just kind of dive into this, and I think you're going to be really glad that you spent a little time with us tonight, regardless of where you are with your own blog. Even if you're at the beginning, or if you're on your way to becoming a professional blogger, or even if you already are making a full-time living from your blog, I think you're going to really be glad that you were watching this. So Christy says how a business model works. That's good. Amanda says some owls like to swim. Now that is really interesting. And if you're just popping on now, I was asking everybody to share in the chat box just something crazy or unique that they learned today that they didn't know yesterday. And maybe it was via social media, some post somebody shared, or on the news or whatever. So Paul said, I learned about Rumi, the Sufi mystic and poet. Janice said she learned how to make money with Pinterest with affiliate links. That's awesome. That's great. Hey, Mariah. So Mariah learned that giant pandas are no longer endangered. That's awesome. Great to hear. Hey, Raquel. All right. So, and also let me know where you're from. Ashley says she learned how to categorize blog posts. Hey, Wayne / Keith. What are you trying to do? You're trying to trick us with your name there? So anyway, yeah, throw where you're from over in the chat box. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and we have Lauren Cantoni on, and she is our senior editor over at my main blog, Seed Time, and she is from fill in the blanks, Lauren.
Hi, everyone. I am here in St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome.
St. Louis, Missouri. I used to live in St. Louis until about a year and a half ago. So if you're just popping on now, we are going to be talking about basically the 3 secrets, the most important things you need to learn or you need to know in order to turn your blog into a full-time living. And super, super excited to share this stuff. It's really, really great stuff. I mean, the reason I'm saying that isn't because I think the content is that great, but just because it had such an impact on me and my blog. And these are things that took me from just being a struggling, floundering blogger to be able to turn into a full-time living, have my wife quit her job, be able to travel and do all the stuff that we want to do. So it's just been really, really cool for us. So anyway, I see Sylvia from Quebec. That's awesome, Sylvia. Caitlin's from New Mexico. I cannot read that name. Is it Godelia from Austin, Texas? I don't know if I said that right. Sorry. Raquel, Jillian, Kate, Sean, Mitch, Charles. Steve's from Charleston, South Carolina. Just met somebody from Charleston last night. Actually, I believe she said, I think she might have said her dad was the mayor of Charleston or something. Don't recall exactly. I just met her for the first time last night. Amanda's from Utah. Lisa's from Central Florida. Mariah's from LA. Tim's from Cleveland. I'm so glad so many of you decided to show up tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to walk away with some really good stuff. And you're going to get a cheat sheet that is like gold that you're going to be able to walk away with, and you're going to be able to take. It's like a step-by-step guide to doing something that we're going to talk about in a little bit. So anyway, we are now a few minutes past 8, and I want to get this thing. I just want to move quickly through this. I don't want to waste anybody's time. We all have families and our time is precious, so I don't want to waste it just by chatting. So I'm going to dive in and get going on the slides. And then what we can do is, if you have questions, you can ask them throughout, and we will, if we can't get to them during, because Lauren will be helping out with some of that, I will get to them at the end. But let me go ahead and get my slides shared for y'all. Pull this up real quick. All right, and then let's go here. So many windows to move around. All right, and we're gonna go with that. Okay, and then we're gonna share the screen. All right, bear with me, almost there. Okay, Lauren, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Looks great.
Awesome. Okay, so what you're going to learn tonight, we're going to learn how to make a full-time living blogging. Even if you feel like everyone else's blog is better than yours, I can totally relate with that. I still feel like that way in so many ways. It's just a little insecurity that I've had to deal with, and maybe you might have to deal with that a little bit, but also without working any more than you currently do on your blog. And this is where you're probably like, there's no way, I don't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine, but we're going to dive into this. I'm going to show you why this is the case. Now, this obviously means that you're spending some time working on your blog. You can't be spending 5 minutes a week, and you have to work more than that. But most of us, it's not about how much we're working. It's about how smart we're working, and we're just kind of going to get into that a little bit. So this is how our next hour is going to be laid out. I'm going to show you the 3 secrets that I learned that changed everything for me and my blog, like I was saying before, and basically took me from making about $100 a month, just kind of like struggling through, feeling insecure, and just not really making any progress, to crossing into the 6-figure mark with my blog. I'm going to teach you one specific technique that you can use to instantly be making more money from your blog. And then like this content that I'm pulling is out of our course. So we have a course where we help bloggers go from being part-time bloggers to full-time bloggers. And this, what you're learning is kind of pulled directly out of that. So I'm going to show you basically the rest of that course for anybody who's interested at the end. And I'm going to give you a special offer that you can't get anywhere else. And then I'm also going to answer questions for you. And then we're also going to give you a cheat sheet, which I'm going to share a little bit more detail about in a second. So I want to know how long you've been blogging. So Lauren's going to throw a survey over on the side. This is going to help me kind of tailor what we're talking about to you. And so I'd like to know how long you've been doing this whole blogging thing. If you're just brand new, or if you've been at it for 5 years or 8 years like me. Yeah, so just let me know how long you've been doing that. I'm going to flip over there now and see. Yeah, and if you haven't even started yet, let me know that. So I'm seeing, it looks like a lot of you haven't started. A lot have been less than a year, about 15% 1 to 3 years, about 10% 3 to 5 years, and about 5% of you 5 or more years. And so those, it's kind of cool watching these numbers all just kind of fluctuate as more and more of you are answering that question. But basically, it looks like we have more than half of you less than a year. Probably about 60-something% less than a year. So less than a year / haven't started, both combined. Okay, great. All right, so that's good for me. And Lauren, if you want to share that to everybody, you can. I'm not sure if it's showing up there or not, but anyway. Okay, great. Okay, well, cool. Thank you for answering that. Yeah, and I would like to know also what your goals are here. So are you blogging specifically to become a full-time blogger? Or is it just like, I just would love to make a few extra $100 on the side? I mean, because that's kind of how it started for me. I just want to make a few extra $100. If I could do that, I was like, it would be amazing. And then it just kind of kept going for me. So, or if you're just doing this for fun, like I know we're titling this thing, How to Make a Full-Time Living Blogging, but if that's not what you're into and you just want to do it for fun and just reach people, that's completely fine. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But anyway, yeah, I'd love to hear what it is over in the comments, if you wouldn't mind just throwing in there what it is for you, what your goals are. Looks like most of you are trying to do it full time, and that's great. You're in the right place. We're going to chat about that. All right, so the cheat sheet at the end, yeah, like I said, this is going to be just a big head start for you, particularly for those of you who have started already. But if you haven't, it's still going to be really valuable. And once you get up and running, this will be a great exercise for you to kind of implement. So the slides are not available because of the kind of tool that I'm using to do these slides. There's no real easy way to send them to you. So you definitely want to be paying attention and kind of focusing on what we're doing here, not reading Yahoo News or watching The Bachelor or anything else. Just hang with us. You're going to get so much more value out of this if you do. And I want you to be thinking of questions as we're going. And I read this study just recently about people who are actually trying to come up with questions end up learning the material so much better. And anyway, so I won't spend too much time on that. But bottom line, be thinking of questions as we're going through this. If something comes to your mind, it's like, wow, I am curious about that. Then ask the question or save it for later. I'm happy to answer all the questions you have at the end of this thing. So be thinking of some questions. Now, real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name is Bob Loddick. I've been blogging a while. We'll get into that in a second. This is my family. I love them. They're awesome. And I run a website called Seed Time. This is my main site, my main bread and butter, the one I've been doing since 2007. Efficient blogging is where we help bloggers basically go from being part-time to full-time and help them make more money and get more traffic to their blog. And so this book you probably have read. I hope that you have. This was like my first kind of book on Amazon, and it's just done really well. And you can go buy it there if you want. But if you haven't gotten it free, I'm happy to give it to you for free. You can just go over to efficientblogging.com/free-book, and you can get it for free. And I recommend picking that up if you haven't already. All right. So real quick, my goal for you out of all this, I've been helped by many bloggers over the course of my blogging career, if you will. And I love helping bloggers succeed. It's just one of my favorite things. It's the joy in the work that I get to do. And this is our analytics screenshot since we began. And we've had, just more people come to our site than I don't even understand it. It doesn't make sense to me, but this is what I want for our students. And I've been really excited to have some people who I've been able to have an impact on, in terms of helping them with their blogs, who have far surpassed our numbers, which is just so fun and thrilling for me. And I really want you to be one of them. And it's really, really possible. And so anyway, I'll shut up. We're going to keep moving on. So I've been blogging for about 9 years now, making a full-time living for the last 8 of those. And like I said, I specialize in helping bloggers earn more and get more traffic so they can go full-time. And for those of you wondering, yes, being a full-time blogger is as good as you can imagine it is. I always dreamed about kind of the freedom that comes with it and not having a boss and being able to like having your income like tied to your own ability to work hard. And it's really, really fun being able to travel whenever you want, all that stuff. Like it's just great. Like there's just no way around it. And what we're going to cover tonight, a lot of these are lessons that I learned the hard way, but lucky for you, I'm going to give you the shortcut on a lot of these things, and you are going to be able to learn these lessons through my mistakes so that you don't have to make them and so that you can avoid them. And what we're going to be teaching tonight, I'm just going to kind of tell you a little story here. I call this the salad dressing principle. My buddy is a chef back in St. Louis, and I wanted him to teach me something. I'm like, because I really like cooking. I love cooking, and it's really fun for me. And so I was asking him about salad dressing. I'm like, I want to be able to make some salad dressing. I don't really like the store-bought ones. They always feel like they're not fresh, blah, blah, blah. And I really want to be able to make a good vinaigrette. And he said, all right, here's what you need to know. It's really simple. All you need to do to make, like, this is the basic for making a vinaigrette. It's 3 parts oil and 1 part acid. And if you remember that, then you can just run with that and go wild with your imagination. But if you stick within that parameter, you're going to be good and you're going to have something. And just from knowing that, so the acid could be like a vinegar, it could be like a lemon juice, or other stuff. Like I don't even know what all is acidic, but anyway, but I've done that. And because I knew that 3-to-1 ratio, I've been able to make all kinds of different salad dressings and great salad dressings. But he broke it down into the simplest parts. And that's what we are going to do tonight. So we are going to give some specifics about specific actionable things for you to do and to leave with. But I want you to understand the reason behind some of these things and the fundamentals so that you can just run with this and just regardless of how things change, because social media networks are going to change and all this stuff's going to change. But I want you to understand the fundamentals and these key important, rules of thumb that you can just kind of take and use. All right, so on to the actual 3 secrets, and this is what we're going to chat and what we're going to dive into and spend most of our time on. So secret number 1 is that 90% of the social media networks, the blog comments, the emails, and all the things that you do with your blog actually don't really matter. Secret number 2 is by not writing any more blog posts, your blog will finally be able to grow. And the secret number 3 is that you can double, triple, probably even quadruple your blog earnings without getting any more traffic and without being spammy on your blog. And so all 3 of these are probably things you don't believe yet. So I'm going to try to convince you on all 3 of these as we're moving through tonight. So secret number 1, 90% of social media networks, blog comments, emails, all the things you and I used to do, they just don't really matter. And I'm going to kind of dive in and tell you why. So for me, my first year blogging, I remember this, and I remember it really well. All I did was pretty much feel terrible on my blog. My self-esteem would rise and fall based on whether I was getting a lot of comments to a particular blog post. So I would spend all this time on this blog post, and then I'd have like 1 or 2 comments, and one was from my mom, and it just felt like I'm not having any impact. My blog's a failure, blah, 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 blah. And it was just really, really disappointing. And I just felt terrible about my blog. And then, honestly, and this was pre-social media era, because we're talking 2007. I think MySpace was around, but no one was using social media to kind of like promote stuff. And, and I still found myself, like, even at that point, there were always new tools and websites to kind of help promote. And I felt like I had to learn every single thing that popped up. If I felt like if I didn't, that I would just like completely fail at this blogging thing. And then on top of that, like I would see other bloggers in my niche, and I would see their success, and I'd see that they had more comments than me, and I would see that they got a spike of traffic from Dig. Remember when Dig was a big deal back in the day? Maybe not, but and I would just kind of get jealous, and I just felt bad about my blog, and it just wasn't fun, And then there was this one blogger who we were just like unspoken competitors because we were doing really similar things, and he was just always one step ahead of me. And we had started around the same time, but he had more traffic than me. I think he was making more money than me, and he had more comments and just all the stuff. And I always felt myself like secretly kind of comparing myself to him. And anyway, and I just felt bad in this blog, this thing that I was so excited about doing, this message that I felt like I wanted to share with the world. It was turning into something that I despised. And I started this thing with like this vision of reaching people and sharing what I had learned and just being really excited about it. And I found myself just not even enjoying it anymore. So anyway, so this is about a year in. And then around this time, my boss called me into the conference room along with my entire department. And it was a really, really life-changing moment because he basically started crying in this conference room. And he said, guys, I hate to tell you this, but you're all being laid off. And it was like, whoa, what just happened here? And so I'm faced with this situation of having this blog that I'm kind of like hating a little bit, but kind of liking and making very little money from, making like $100, $200 a month from, and being faced with, all right, now I'm losing my job, but I would love to be a full-time blogger, but I'm so far away from being able to do it. And anyway, so like out of all this stuff, I prayed, we talked to my wife, we looked at our finance and our situation and just kind of figured everything out. And we decided, let's just kind of go for this. But I decided that if I'm going to try to do this thing full time, like I have to find a way to actually enjoy the blog itself. Like I can't be doing this comparison thing. I can't be like just stressing myself out with everything here. So within 1 year of making that decision, I was able, and following not just that, but these next 2 things we're going to talk about as well. I went from making $100 a month to $5,000 a month with the blog. And anyway, you'll see as we dive into these other things why. But so one of our biggest challenges here is that we're all trying to be on all social media, and it's just really one of the worst things you can do. And so what's exciting about this I mean, as difficult as that is to hear sometimes, because I hear so many bloggers and so many gurus and everything else telling you, yeah, you got to be on all social media and you got to do this and you got to sign up for this and blah, 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 all these things. And it just gets your head spinning, you know. But the thing that's exciting about it is that if you're anything like me, you actually don't have the time to do this. You probably, or you might get annoyed by all of it anyway. And you just can't keep up with all the changes. You know, this is how I have felt and how I felt then. And it was just like the most liberating thing to be able to say, you know, I don't have to do all that. And once you like give yourself permission to not do that, it's like suddenly it just opens up the floodgates to what's actually possible. And so the key here is to find one social media outlet that works for your blog and focus your energy on that. And so it's this 80-20 approach to finding the one outlet, maybe two, but the one outlet that you're spending 80 to 90% of your energy on learning about, on spending your time on, you know, posting to, whatever else, but find that one thing that actually is working and focus on that. So, you know this guy, right? I mean, he looks like a baby here. It's amazing this guy's changed the world. But anyway, so this is Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook. And he said, I ask myself this question every single day. Am I doing the most important thing that I could be doing? And as bloggers, if you're new to this, you will discover this very soon, that there are so many opportunities. There's so many things you can be doing that focusing on the absolute most important thing you could be doing is just absolutely essential. This is Steve Jobs, as you probably know. He says this, he says, focusing is about saying no. And I love that, because I think a lot of people think, all right, well, I just have to focus. And so I have to look at these 10 things and I have to focus on all 10 of them at the same time. But in reality, focusing is about saying no to 8 of those 10 things, maybe 9 of them. And here's Warren Buffett. This guy's had a little bit of success in his life. He says the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Like, don't you think we have something that we can learn from all these guys who have just, I mean, these are some of the most successful people of the, really of the history of the world, you know, with what they've done, you know. So I completely agree with what they're saying. And I just completely think that for bloggers, for us to really succeed at what we're doing, we have to focus on the most important things. And in finding that one social media network that's working to drive traffic and to really connect with your audience makes so much more sense than trying to be on all 8, 10 social media networks that are popping up. So the key is kind of finding that whatever that one is. And you know, and at the beginning, this might take some trial and error. So it's okay to sign up for all the social media networks. I'm not saying not to do that. I'm not saying not to get your Twitter handle. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, I don't think you should be trying to spend 2 hours every day on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pinterest, on LinkedIn, on Snapchat, like on Instagram. Like, you need to focus that effort, because if you divide it up in all those different ways, like, you're not going to have success on any of them. Or it's just going to be, you're going to kill yourself working, you know, 18 hours a day and really making little progress if you would just, as opposed to just focusing all your energy on that one. So what can you do today? Because you know your situation better than I do, but what can you be doing today to better focus your efforts? So feel free to throw that in the chat box just so other people can see. But yeah, I would love to hear from you what you know, and you can kind of admit it here. We'll be little accountability group to each other. But you know, what are you doing that you're just off focus on, and how could you better focus your efforts? So go ahead and throw something over in the chat box for us all to see, if you don't mind. And then we'll kind of get diving into secret number 2 as well. All right, so secret number 2 is that you can not write any more blog posts, and you will finally be able to make your blog grow. And it's okay that you don't believe me. I'm going to try to convince you, and I think I will by the end of this little secret here. So this is a problem I've seen with a lot of bloggers. I've seen this for really since I began. I had a bunch of blogger friends who kind of started with me at the beginning. And to be honest, a lot of them didn't follow these 3 secrets that we're talking about. And some of them still have blogs that get like 100 visits a month, like literally like 7 or 8 years later. And it's because they didn't focus on these things. And And so this is this thing I see a lot. So you probably remember the old Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams, you know, where he's got this voice whispering to him. He says, if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. And it's been so long since I've seen the movie. I actually don't even remember everything, but essentially the gist of it, if I remember correctly, is that he's building this ball field out in the middle of his corn patch, and like in the middle of Iowa or something, and then all of a sudden, just people just show up. And in reality, like there's just a lot of bloggers doing that same thing. If I just write great content on this blog somewhere in the corner of the internet, people are just going to come and find it. And there's sad truth is that that's not the case. And it pains me to say that, because I've seen some blogs that are just really, really good and the content is great and they have great personalities and all this stuff. But the truth is that it's more than just writing great content, you know? And so for me, I used to wonder, like, what was wrong with me when I would spend like 10 hours on a blog post. Like, I would just devote, I tell myself, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to make the most amazing blog post ever. And then like no one would read it. And I'd get like one comment or something. And anyway, like it was just painful. And some of you probably have experienced something like that. Maybe it wasn't 10 hours, but maybe it was just pouring your life, you know, your heart and soul, just being really open and transparent in a blog post. And then you just felt like it just didn't hit, you know? And so the problem, you know, wasn't that I didn't have enough good content. It was just that no one knew about the content. And so at that point in my blog, I spent 98% of my time creating content and about 2% promoting it. And kind of when that 1 year point, 1.5 year point where I switched gears on all this stuff, and when things just really changed for me, was when I flipped this thing on its head and I went to about 20% of creating content for my blog and then about 80% of promoting that content. And once I did that, it's like everything changed. And by promoting, I don't mean like just going on Facebook 10 times a day and saying, hey, read my blog post. Hey, read my blog post. Hey, read my blog post. Like that's a part of promotion, but and you know, and there's many ways that you can promote your content, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking, you know, anything that can be a form of promotion is good, but really just finding those best ways to promote your blog. And one of my favorite ways has always been, you know, writing guest posts for other people's blogs. And so that is, you know, obviously involves creating more content, but you're creating it strictly for the purposes of promotion. So this is another myth that I kind of need to dispel. I see a lot of bloggers thinking that I just need to write a ton of articles and then I can get a ton of traffic. And it's just not true. And so I'm going to kind of show you something here. This is like a screenshot of our Google Analytics kind of top content. And so these are the top 10 pages on our SeedTime website. And with a total of 1.1 million page views for the month, and 479,000 of them came from the top 10 pages on my blog. So even though we have like 700 articles, I could literally delete off 690 of them and still would be getting 500,000 visits to my 10 blog posts. And so this is something that I think most bloggers don't realize. I think because when I started, I just thought, you know, if I write 100 blog posts, you know, surely some of them will get more traffic than others, but it'll probably be a somewhat even spread. But in reality, it's just like tilted so far in the other direction that literally almost half of my, all of my page views come to about 10 of my articles. Like, it's just insane the way it works. So my point here is that it doesn't take a lot of content to get a lot of traffic. There's another blogger I know who gets many hundreds of thousands of visits to his blog, and I think he's literally got like 32 blog posts on the site, like total. So anyway, so, you know, this is something else. So like a lot of other bloggers would look at me funny when I told them how much writing I was doing for other blog posts, like guest posts and stuff, instead of writing for my own blog. But this is a lot of the reason why, is because I could use those other things, those other guest posts and things to help me to get these 10 pages ranking higher in Google and essentially just getting more traffic. So what I'd like to hear from you is, what are you doing right now? I'd like to hear your ratio of creation to promotion. So are you doing that 98.2% plan like I was? Or do you have more of a 50-50 thing? Or are you really just doing a great job, like spending a lot of time on promotion right now? I'd love to hear over in the kind of comments area, if you don't mind. Raquel is asking what a guest post is. So guest post is basically when you go and ask another blogger, ideally one that you have some sort of relationship with. It tends to help a little bit better. But you're asking another blogger if you can write a piece of content for them. And it very much can be a win-win situation, because if the other blogger feels like, I don't feel like writing a blog post today, I'd like a break, and then you can come in and write something great for them. And when I say great, I mean great. Like, this method works a whole lot better if you write really, really good stuff for the other blog. So don't hold back. Don't try to just keep your best stuff just for your blog. But anyway, that's what a guest post is. And it's a great method that still works really well to kind of help you promote your blog. All right. Secret number 3. You can double or triple your blog earnings without getting any more traffic than you already have and without being spammy. Now, those of you who haven't started yet, this isn't going to apply until you start getting some traffic. You got to have some traffic here. But anyway, let's dive in and I'll kind of show you what's going on here. So I'm kind of like a little bit of an analytical nerd. And for the last 8 years, I've just been like constantly trying to increase earnings on my blog. And once I'll reach a plateau and I'll think, all right, what else can I do? How can I do something else? And how can I move this over here, do this and this? And I find myself thinking this a lot, or I've done this many times over the years, that I'll think to myself, I just made a huge improvement on my blog, and our earnings just went up 50% over last month. And there's nowhere else to go. Like, I can't earn any more from this. But the truth is that you always can earn more money from a blog. There's just no limit to this. All it is just us continuing to refine this process and get smarter and smarter. And there's just no limit to it. And that's something that for me is just really, really exciting. So there are just hundreds of ways to take your existing traffic and make more money with it. So I'm going to give you a real life example that you can just kind of copy and follow along with. And this is something that I did that worked really, really well. And like I said, for those of you who don't have a blog yet, this is something that you will want to take notes on and store up for the future, because this is a technique that just works really, really well. So what I did was, I had this blog post that was earning me about $300 a month. And so I just used this 5-minute technique to triple the earnings. And it really only took me about 5 minutes of work. And so let me kind of flip over and share my other screen here so we can kind of show you what I did. So this is literally the actual blog post itself. This is a blog post I wrote many, many years ago. I've since updated it, but so it's 10 free household budgeting spreadsheets. This we've added recently for 2017 after we updated it. But anyway, so I came to this blog post, and I would look at this one a lot because it was one of my top earning blog posts. And what I noticed was, and actually this guy is still over here. What I noticed was this right here, this ad right here. This guy has an Excel budget spreadsheet. And I thought, well, why is this guy advertising his Excel budgeting spreadsheet on my article for 10 free household budgeting spreadsheets? Like, why would somebody be paying to advertise there? Or, and honestly, I was thinking this guy's wasting his money because no one's going to click on these ads to go buy a spreadsheet when I'm giving away all these free ones here. It just doesn't make any sense. But I would come back here, and like every couple months, I'd see this guy's ad, and I'm like, why is that there? Like, why is he still doing that? And any of you who have ever done any advertising before, you probably know that if you're a good and a smart advertiser, when something is working, you stick with it. And when it's not working, you don't stick with it. So I began to think, this guy's either crazy and wasting a lot of money, or this is actually working. And so what I did was I decided I'm going to go over to his site and just kind of see what he has going on. So I did not click my ad. This is a Google AdSense ad unit. And you never want to click on your own Google AdSense ads, because that's a violation of the terms of service and you very well might get kicked out. But you can see his URL right down here. And so what I did is I just went over to his website, and we just kind of do that, or I actually got it pulled up. So so this is his website, just called simpleplanning.com, and he sells budgeting spreadsheets. And so I came over here and I was just looking around, and I came down to the bottom, and I saw this. I saw this wonderful nugget right here. It says affiliates. And for those of you who don't know what an affiliate program is, or affiliate marketing, basically it's when you essentially work as a 100% commission salesperson. And so I went over here and I saw he had an affiliate program, and I signed up. And basically what that meant was that I can now promote his spreadsheet and get a 50% commission on any of these spreadsheets I actually sell. And so anyway, so since he was advertising on there, and since he kept doing it, I had a pretty good hunch that people were actually clicking over there to buy it, even though they're on this article for free budgeting spreadsheet. So it didn't really make any sense to me. But I went over there, got signed up for an affiliate program. And so I became an affiliate. Really, really simple. Took me about 5 minutes to do. And then he gave me a link that I could put on my article. So then what I did was I came down here, and above all the budgeting spreadsheets, I said, here's a premium budgeting spreadsheet. I said, this is my favorite Excel sheet I found, but the downside is that it's not free, because it is. It's a great sheet. And I said, they have a free demo with full versions, $15. So I'm like completely upfront about it. I'm not lying. I'm not trying to pretend like it's a free one or anything like that. But I just put a link here that they can click over to get it. And instantly, just from doing that, the earnings from this blog post more than tripled. We instantly began earning an extra $1,000 a month just from selling this as an affiliate. Now, what's really cool, because if that wasn't good enough, was that now what I could have done is pulled off the Google AdSense ad, because we probably were losing some people clicking over here. And if somebody clicks over here, I might make 50 cents. But if they click on this, I'm going to get $7 or $15, depending on which spreadsheet they buy. And so anyway, I was thinking, I could pull this ad off and possibly do a little bit better, but the AdSense earnings didn't drop. So it was just money that I was leaving on the table by not having this linked up in here. And so anyway, so that's essentially the technique that I used. And what you can do, so here's what I recommend doing. I recommend finding your top content that you have on your site, the articles that are already getting traffic. And if you have AdSense installed on your site, just kind of go through and look and see who's advertising and just pay attention. And then go to their site and look for an affiliate program. This is another one that I did. This was a site called Bill Cutters. And what I found with them was they had this cool service, and I just sent them an email. They didn't have an affiliate program. And I sent them an email and said, hey guys, I love what you're doing. I'd love to recommend you. Would you consider creating an affiliate program, or do you have an affiliate program? And they actually created one just for me because I asked. And then so I've been able to promote them on different articles that it makes sense. And I've been able to earn, consistently ever since we created that as well. So this is a technique that absolutely can really, really kick up your earnings. And essentially what you're doing is you're cutting out the middleman. And so like I was saying, start by going to your top 10 most popular articles. One other thing here I want to show you is that you might want to go, on your actual article itself, you might want to go to incognito window, which you can do if you click over here on Google Chrome, click new incognito window. And the reason you might want to do this is because Google's retargeting stuff might follow you around with ads for something that you've looked at recently. So that's just a quick tip that might make it a little bit easier for you. But start with your top 10 articles, because that's going to be your biggest bang for your buck. Because if you do this on one that's getting 5 visits a month, it's probably not going to do real well for you. But if it's one of your top articles, it can really, really help. So let me know who thinks. Throw this over in the comment box. I'd love to hear if you think you're going to be able to use this technique now or in the future, and if it's really going to help you make some more money. And so what you have learned, essentially, these are 3 of my favorite secrets that you need in order to separate you from 99% of the bloggers out there and just really help you turn your blog into a massive success. So I want you to go out today and just start implementing this stuff. I want you to start focusing on what's most important. Blog comments are not the most important thing to be focusing on. I want you to be focusing on the one social media network that matters, or the one traffic source that matters. I want you to really be diving into that. and everything else we kind of chatted about, and I do wish we could just kind of talk all night long about all this stuff. But like I said here, so this is what we kind of talked about, and, all the 8-9 years I've been doing this, this is everything else that I wish we could kind of chat about. But this is why we created the Pro Blogging Secrets course. And this is essentially where I've dumped everything that I've learned kind of all into this course, where we help bloggers kind of get up and running. We help them start getting traffic, start getting, making money, and really turn their part-time blog into a full-time thing. And so we have 6 main modules in this course. And so we have a content creation module. And this is where we answer questions like, how to come up with successful blog post ideas, how to keep people from stealing your articles. We have an article template in there that you can literally rip off. That's guaranteed to get shares on social media. I also have my checklist that I follow after I publish every blog post, tons of other stuff in there. In terms of our getting traffic module, we have SEO for bloggers who really don't want to learn about SEO. So how to break that down to its simplest parts and do the most effective things, like my current social media strategy that I use, a whole bunch of traffic techniques that work, how to find great keywords for your blog posts, and a lot more. So we talk about graphics and design in another module, like where you can find great images that won't get you sued. Like I was threatened by a law firm over something that I did dumb. And so how you can avoid that, how to edit photos without Photoshop, how to get an awesome looking logo for next to nothing, all kinds of other stuff and goodies in there. Email marketing, like why you need to focus on building your email list. This is just one of the most important things. Every professional blogger I met, if I ask any of them what their regret was, it was, I wish I would have started building my email list earlier. The best email service providers to use, et cetera, et cetera. And then the making money section is our biggest section. So we just have tons of content in here, including step-by-step methods I use to systematically increase my blog earnings, how to really succeed at affiliate marketing, a peek at my blog earnings breakdowns and the things that are actually working for me. Tons of lessons on AdSense optimization to 2, 3, 4, 5x your earnings, and just a lot more stuff in there. And then the business of blogging. So how to formalize your blog as a business, how to handle all the tax stuff, and just tons of other business tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So all of that stuff is included in our full video course, and that's a $399 value. And then we have all those 6 core modules that we just chatted about there. So there's a couple other courses I'm going to throw in. So this is our Pinterest Traffic Secrets course. And this is the thing that, this is my secret sauce, I guess you would say, of the last year or two. And so this is my course where I share the exact strategy that I use to grow my Pinterest traffic from 10,000 visits a month to over 600,000 visits a month, and to do that in less than 18 months. And so this just exploded my traffic. So if you remember that screenshot from the beginning of the workshop, you'll notice it's a little bit like a hockey stick curve. And that hockey stick curve kind of began from this, exactly what I share in this course. So if you need more traffic to your blog, this is it, and this works. And then if you haven't started your blog yet, if you're new to blogging, this is exactly what you need. So this is our 21 lesson course that helps you get your blog up and running and teaches you everything you need to know about WordPress. So everything you need to know about how to actually use the blog software and how to publish a post and how to link to other articles and put images in and all that stuff. Everything's included in there. So just kind of summing all this up, we have the entire Pro Blogging Secrets video course with 50 plus video tutorials and lessons, all those 6 core modules, how to create great content, the traffic lessons that I learned from having a 35 million visitor blog, all about graphics and imaging, email marketing, everything there, the money-making secrets I've learned from being a full-time blogger for 8 years, all the business stuff related to blogging to keep you from getting sued or going to jail. The Pinterest Traffic Secrets course, $149 value. The Start Your Blog Now course, $49 value. All that, $597 total value. And then we have a couple bonus presentations in here. This was one I did at a conference. Everybody needed to pay $300 or $400 to be in this conference to hear this. But it was a presentation I did on how I grew my blog to 1 million visits a month. And so that's going to be included in this. These are 2 great workshops that I have on here. So the one on the left is with Brian Harris, who charges $2,000 for his email list building course. And I feel like I got him to share some of his best secrets on this thing. So really, it's a steal. And then on the right, this is a friend of mine named Josh Elledge, and he is like the master of free publicity. This guy has been on radio and TV, like literally like many thousands of times. He estimates that he's gotten like, I think $3 or $4 million in free publicity. So he shares the secrets of how you, average Joe, can get on your local radio and your local news stations. And he basically lays out the step-by-step plan for how you can do that. And it's really, really attainable. So all that stuff's included. All those presentations are included. All that stuff's in there. And then we're going to throw a couple other goodies in here to kind of help ensure your success. So we have a whole bunch of PDF worksheets that you can kind of, and checklists that you can kind of use to navigate through this course to make sure you stay on topic. And then we also have a private Facebook mastermind group that I have just been loving. And this is what all of our students have access to. And so if you have a question, you can come in here and answer it. I'm in there all the time helping people, answering questions. And honestly, I'm getting ideas from other students. So it's just working out really, really great. So it's a great community of other bloggers who you can ask questions of and you can share ideas with. And it's just a great, great community. And then on top of all that, we're going to throw in 1 month of unlimited email consulting with me. So one of the downsides of having a high traffic blog is that there's just too much email coming in. And so I have to, in order to get anything done with my blog, this comes back to that focus thing. I process email once a week. The exception is this. So any of our unlimited email consulting students have direct access to my inbox and can get answers to questions that they have for 1 month. And so everything, just kind of summing everything up, the entire 50+ video lesson of Pro Blogging Secrets, $399 value, the Pinterest Traffic Secrets course, the Start Your Blog Now video course, how I grew my blog to 1 million visits presentation, how to get millions in free media presentation, the email list growth workshop, all the worksheets and spreadsheets included, the Facebook private mastermind group, in 1 month, unlimited email consulting with me. All of that, if you bought it all individually, adds up to over $1,000. And so here's what just a few of our students have said. And so this is Matt Jabs. He runs a website, Matt and Betsy both do, called DIY Natural. And at the time he told me this, they were making well into the 5 figures, possibly into the 6 figures with their blog. And I was able to give him some suggestions on AdSense placement. And just by making those little tweaks, he said, I can't believe how much the changes Bob suggested benefited earnings. They're double what they were. So that was really, really fun to hear. So if all the course did for you, if you already have a blog up and running, like for the next 5-10 years, like if you could double your earnings, like how much would that be worth to you? And this is Steve Chu, and he used kind of our Pinterest Traffic Secrets course. He said, using some of Bob's traffic ideas, my Pinterest traffic has increased 2,300% compared to the same period last year. So that was another fun one to hear because it worked for me, and we got it in the Pinterest Traffic Secrets course. And so it's really, really fun hearing other students have the same level of success. And so same question, if you could do that same thing that Steve did, I mean, even though it was half that, if you could 10x your traffic, just like Steve did in the next year, like what would that be worth to you? And this is Aja, one of our awesome students. And she said, within a month of starting the class, I immediately saw an increase in traffic, about 100%, and my AdSense income quadrupled. So not 2x, not 3x, but 4x based on some of the recommendations from the course modules. I highly recommend anyone looking to monetize their platform take the course as soon as possible. And so anyway, so I'll ask you the same thing. So like if you could double your traffic and 4x your income from your blog in 1 month, like what would that be worth to you? And what would that mean for you? So summing all this up, we only open the doors to this course about 1 to 2 times each year. And the next time we do it, this package is going to be sold for $499. But just as a little thank you for joining us tonight, we're going to do it for $249 today. So that's over 75% off of the list price if you were buying all this stuff individually. So Lauren's going to throw a link over in this chat box that you can jump on if you want to join us in the course, if you decide to kind of get in with us, or you can go to efficientblogging.com/secrets. And I'm going to give you a couple bonuses for anybody who purchases in the next hour. So the first one is a free blog evaluation. And any of our students who have taken advantage of this, I think have really enjoyed this. But basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send you an email and ask you some questions, ask you what you're looking for feedback on your blog on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit record on my screen share tool, and I'm going to go in and just kind of do an overview of your blog and give you feedback on whatever you want. So if you're looking for feedback on maybe ad placement, if you're looking for feedback on the titles of your blog posts, if you're looking for feedback on your images, you know, how you have your blog laid out, like anything you want feedback on, I'm just going to kind of go through, record myself going through your blog and just giving you real-time feedback. And so this is a $149 value, and we're going to throw this in for free, limited only to 10 because I only have so much time. If you decide to purchase in the next hour, you will be getting that free. And then as another kind of fun thing we like to do, one of my favorite things is having an accountability partner. So we're going to let you bring a friend for free into the course. So if you have anybody else who might be interested in kind of starting a blog or who's already blogging and wants to kind of dive in with you, you are going to get to bring them into the course for free. And we've found this is something that a lot of our students really enjoy. So either way, if you want either one of these bonuses or both of these bonuses, just be sure to come join us in the next hour, and we will be sure to get them to you. And so just kind of summing everything up that's included here, just because I know it's a lot and I know it's easy to kind of forget and overlook stuff. And I just want to make sure that you actually understand what's included so there's no confusion. So the entire Pro Blogging Secrets full video course with all the 6 modules, 50 plus short video lessons, that's a $400 value all by itself. The Pinterest Traffic Secrets course, and this is essentially my like step-by-step blueprint for what I did to go from 10,000 visits a month to 600,000 visits to my blog from Pinterest. So that's all wrapped up in that course. The Start Your Blog Now course. So if you're brand new and just want to get the foundation right, this is going to be super helpful for you. The Online Biz Quick Start, which we didn't even talk about. How I grew my blog to 1 million visits a month. That presentation is included. The How to Get Millions in Free Media presentation. The Email List Growth Workshop. All the worksheets and spreadsheets that we kind of have in there. The printable worksheets and things. The private Facebook mastermind group, which I have found to be incredibly valuable myself. So I'm kind of excited that I get to be in there. 1 month unlimited email consulting with me, the personal blog evaluation, and then bringing your accountability partner who will get everything that you get as well. All of that. If you bought it all individually, it's $23.78, and you get it tonight for $249. So yeah, like I said, I was just talking to somebody earlier about how we're going to be raising our prices and how this package is going to be up at around $500 very soon. So if this is something you're interested in, definitely we would love to have you in the course. So something else here is that I'm going to take all this risk for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a 30-day money-back guarantee. And the reason is that I want people in our course who are getting results. And I'm confident because I've seen the testimonials from our students, and I hear what they say, but you don't have, the full luxury of hearing what all the students say. We just give you a snippet of it. But I'm confident that it's going to work. But if you get in there and it doesn't work for you, just send us an email. Like, we will gladly refund 100% of your purchase price. Like, no questions asked. We're not going to make you jump through a whole bunch of hoops and fill out paperwork and whatever else. It's just really, really simple. We want you in there. We want you getting results. And if you're not, then we don't deserve your money. It's just that simple. If we don't teach you, if we don't provide you what you need to make progress, then I don't think we deserve to get paid. I think it's that simple. So if you want to join us, this is what the sales page looks like, or the checkout page. So you can just click the link over in the chat area, or you can go to efficientblogging.com/secrets, and it'll take you to a page that looks something like this. I think it might have a different color header right now or something like that, but basically it's this. And that's what you can do. And a couple of things I just want to throw out there is, sometimes we've had people on here and they see that we've had 35 million visits to our blog, and they're like, oh, you're just a superhero, blah, 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 blah. And man, I wish I could tell you how not true that is. Like, I am just the furthest thing from an overnight success. I am, like I'm saying on the slide here, I'm not cut out to keep up with 10 social media platforms. Like a lot of the reason I stumbled on this stuff is because I just don't have the ability to do it. Like I'm just limited, you know what I mean? And so there probably are some bloggers who literally can just be everywhere on every social media platform and make it work. But I just don't have the bandwidth to do it. I don't have the mental capacity to do it. And so I just had to find another way. And so for me, it's just been all about of the focused effort and the focused approach. And it's just worked really well, you know? And so I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I was a B student, you know, but I could work hard. You know, and I can just keep at a thing and just not quit. And that's how I built a successful blog. You know, I'm not an overnight success. I'm just one of those guys who just kind of worked hard at what I did and just kept on going. And I think you can do those two things because anybody can do them, to be honest. So it doesn't mean you don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You don't have to be the most technical person in the world. I'm definitely not. You know, so it's not about that stuff. It's about getting in there, learning the right stuff, and about working hard and about keeping at it. You know, and if you can do those things, it's like you can have success with this. And so, you know, and the other part of this is I spent almost 10 years of my life just making mistakes, trial and error, all this stuff to discover like all these strategies and secrets that are rolled up into this package. And so this is just a shortcut that you can get that can just save you hundreds of hours. You know, so I had to kind of waste a lot of my time, and I wouldn't even call it wasting, especially since I'm able to help other bloggers. But, you know, in hindsight, I would have loved to have bought a package like this early on because I think it would have just saved me a whole lot of time. And this is just, yeah, so like I was talking about with the Pinterest Traffic Secrets course, like right around here, this is kind of where that started. And all this stuff we see up over here, this is Pinterest traffic. And I wish I would have discovered Pinterest a little bit earlier, but anyway, so this is like what we teach in the course. So like right here, this is when I went full time, way back here. And, you know, and I learned a lot and I had a good amount to share at this point, but, you know, as you kind of go through all these different things and like this phase right here where our traffic is down pretty considerably, I tell you what, you learn a lot of stuff when things aren't going well. And so there's a lot of different things that I learned kind of in that phase rolled up in this course, different kind of peaks and times. There's just a lot of lessons. So anyway, yeah, I feel like I have my last 10 years, my life's work in terms of blogging all rolled up into this course, you know. But anyway, so that's kind of what we share and teach in the course. And so I'll tell you what, we could just kind of dive in a little bit. I'm trying to think if that's the best thing. Lauren, how are we doing on questions? Are there any questions that have come in so far? It looks like there's a lot of questions.
Go ahead and check in Slack.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll answer some questions instead of just kind of going in there. If anybody has questions or like wants to go in and actually look at the course itself, we can kind of go in there and I can show you how the lessons are laid out. So let me know in the chat box if that's something you want to see. But in the meantime, let's kind of answer some questions real quick. So, all right, I'm going to start from kind of the end and work back. All right, so question, I have a blog I started about 5 years ago and haven't kept up with it. And I want to come back into blogging. Should I start a new blog? Should I start a new blog because I don't want to blog about what my previous blog was totally about? All right, so, well, yeah, if you could let me know in the comments, it might give me a little bit more information. I can possibly be a little bit more help here. Yeah, basically, like it's ideal if you can work off of that old blog because here's the deal. So Google, if Google traffic is a concern for you at all and getting Google traffic, which I recommend because it's always been one of the biggest sources of traffic for me, Google looks at your birth date and the age of your blog it helps them have an idea of how legitimate you are. And so the older your blog is, and it's not like a major factor, there's a lot of other factors in there. But it's definitely a component. So having a 5-year-old blog is a really good thing. And if there were a way to kind of work off of that, that'd be really, really great. But if it's completely different, you know, yeah, I don't know. I would personally try to find a way to make them work together if at all possible. If not, then yeah, you could start over from scratch. But I would just hate to see you lose all that benefit, everything that you had there. And I'm seeing here, Lauren just kind of, or I see it in there, that you have a social media with 20K followers and a Facebook page, the same name. I mean, those are some major league assets there. I would try to find a way to make all that work together if at all possible. All right, so I'm going to answer one more question, and then we're just kind of going to dive in. I'm going to let you take a peek inside the actual course because a couple of people were asking about that. All right, this offer seems fantastic for stage 2 intermediate level. What about for beginners? So the Start Your Blog Now course is just absolutely awesome for beginners. We help you get started with your blog. So literally show you exactly how to get your self-hosted WordPress blog up and running. Self-hosted WordPress, I won't go into now, but basically it's just the best thing to do. Every single professional blogger that I know, dozens of them, all use self-hosted WordPress. 23% of the entire internet is self-hosted WordPress. It just is the thing that will give you the most options to monetize your blog, the most options to customize your blog. It's just the best thing that everybody uses pretty much. There are plenty of other blog tools out there that you can have success blogging. I'm not saying that you can't have success without it, but I think it says something that every single professional blogger that I know uses self-hosted WordPress. So we help you get set up with that. We also show you everything you need to know about WordPress. And then there's just a lot of great content in there for beginners as well as intermediate stuff. So I feel like we do a pretty good job of kind of covering both those and creating a little bit of a bridge from the beginner to the intermediate level. All right, is it beneficial to be in the class if you only have 5 blog posts, or is it too early? I don't think it's too early at all. Yeah, like I was just saying, I think it's a great time. I mean, the goal of the course is to kind of move you forward regardless of where you are. And a lot of this stuff, honestly, almost everything in the course is going to help you move your blog forward regardless of whether you've been doing it, for 5 days or for 5 years. So anyway, all right, so we'll get back some more questions in a minute, but for now, I want to just kind of get over into the course real quick here. All right, we're going to head over here. And Lauren, what's that URL? I always forget what our URL is to get there.
Select your course. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so once you get logged in with us, just have a quick welcome video kind of showing you have access to kind of join our Facebook mastermind group. And then we have all 3 of our courses just kind of laid out here. And it looks like I need to get logged in so we can actually see these. All right. Let me get over there again. All right, so, and then with each one of these courses, you'll be able to see, like, I love the way this is let up. We used this is a WordPress thing. There's a plugin that we use for this course. And so it's really great because you can kind of see which courses you've completed or which lessons you've completed. You can see your progress on the course itself. And so for each one of these courses, you can kind of see that. So you can quickly navigate to whatever lesson you're looking at. So you can just kind of dive over here and jump into the Pinterest Traffic Secrets course, or the actual Pro Blogging Secrets course with all the different content in there. So we'll just flip over to a lesson here. And so this is my checklist that I use after I publish. So you have the little sidebar section where you can kind of see what's going on. So we have the little video lesson here. We're just kind of like dive into the actual content. So some of these are actually just PowerPoint things. Some of them are videos, but then we have the actual checklist here that you can download, different links that are mentioned in the thing, just a brief overview. But this is basically how the course is laid out. Most of these lessons are pretty short. Like this one's about 4 minutes long. I would say most of them are in the 4 to 10 minute range. So you can just answer a couple or take a couple lessons each day and just kind of make some progress as you're kind of going through everything. But yeah, so that's pretty much how things are laid out. And then you can just mark the course as completed, move on to the next unit. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Like we try not to make things too difficult or anything in here. So anyway, so that is pretty much how things are laid out. Nothing too magical. You can click here and get over to the Facebook group. And we have, like I said, we have a real good community. I think we have about 600 something. I don't know if I remember how many people we have in here. I think we have about 600 or so. I don't know. Do you know, Lauren, how many people are in our group?
I just saw it the other day. I think it's
624. There we go. 624 members. So yeah, so it's just a really great group of folks in there. And yeah, anyway. So that is that. I'm going to flip back over real quick and we can answer some more questions. Right. And yeah, so I pulled up that other slide just in case anybody wants to see everything listed in there. All right. All right. So as someone who hasn't started a blog yet, how do you not get overwhelmed by all that needs to be done? So I think the key to this absolutely is the focus thing, and just focusing on the things that are most important. And I think the question that follows is, well, how do you know what's most important? Well, I think that's what we laid out in the course, because I don't want to waste anybody's time with stuff that isn't important. And so all of the lessons are focused on things that have yielded big results for me and for other bloggers that I know. And so that's what we focused on, what we're teaching in the course. Now, but that's absolutely the key, because I think now more than ever, it's like this in all areas of life. There's just so much noise, and there's so many things that you feel like you have to do as a blogger. But the truth is that there's only a handful of things that are actually yielding the results. And anyway, so that's why when you're getting started, I think just focusing on the most important things, which I think we really help you do well with this course. All right, Janice is action. Should I move move from Blogger to WordPress? And I just checked, my blog was created in 2008. So my blog is roughly 8 years old. All right. So Blogger is a good platform. I like Blogger a lot. It was the first thing that I used. So when I first created my blog, I did it on Blogger, and I was there about 2 or 3 months. And then I realized I need to be on self-hosted WordPress. And, I would say, if you're serious about doing this, if you really want to, have the flexibility with your blog to do whatever you want, if you want to really maximize your earning potential with it, I think you're going to want to be on self-hosted WordPress. You know, and I think that there's probably, last I checked, I believe there's a pretty easy way to export what you have going on at Blogger and import it into WordPress pretty easily. I think there are plugins that will do that for you. All right. Gina is asking, is this a good course to take if you also have a full-time job? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because that's what I did. You know, I was working full-time, and I was growing my blog on the side and working, you know, a few hours here or there whenever I could fit it in. One of the things I would do is I would stay up late on Friday nights and write blog posts. Some Saturday mornings I would get up early and I would work. Like, I had a full-time job, you know, and that's what I did. I just tried to kind of carve out any hours I could to kind of work on things. But anyway, yeah, so I absolutely think it's a good course. And like I said, we kept all of our lessons. Like, we don't have like, other than some of the special bonus stuff, we don't have like hour-long lessons. Most of them are really short and to the point, and then you can run and do the exercise yourself. So, so yeah, I think it's absolutely, you know, the way I would approach it is do one lesson a day and just kind of go through, learn it, and then take action on it and figure out how you can apply this to your blog. And then next day, you know, do something else and just keep going through lesson by lesson. All right. All right. So Lauren, just quick correction there. So, so as far as the price itself is good for, I think, another 48 hours, I believe, we're running it. But in order to get the free blog evaluation and bring in your accountability partner, that's only good for about 40 minutes. And so Gina is asking, can you rewatch the courses over time? Yes, absolutely. You have lifetime access to all of the content, everything in there. Yeah, I don't plan on taking this website down anytime soon. I believe I have the domain registered for probably the next 5 or 10 years. I don't even know. But yes, lifetime access to all the material. We're not going to take it away from you or anything like that. So Amanda says, if you do one lesson per day, will it take you 30 days to complete the course? No, it's going to take you a little bit longer than that, because we have, I think, 50 lessons in there. But in theory, I think 50 days you can kind of complete it, or you can just do 2 lessons on Saturday or something like that. But yeah, some of the lessons are 4 minutes, like I said, and some of them are not necessarily actionable steps. I'm trying to think if that's the right way to say it. Basically, some of the stuff is slightly more general. I'm trying to think of a couple specific lessons here. So like one of the lessons I remember was on not getting sued or something like that. And so it's basically me just telling you something not to do. You know what I mean? So it's not like you need to run out and do something. It's just me telling you something not to do. So, all right. So Gina says, thank you. This seems amazing. Well, great. Glad to hear it. Christy, I don't know what happened to the chat for you. Let's see. I'm going to flip back over to, all right. So Julia asked if we've heard of Live Edit. All right. Live Edit, I haven't heard of it, honestly. There are a lot of different blogging platforms out right now. And honestly, a lot of them are good in terms of looking really good and being simple to use. But it's kind of a little bit like, I would compare it to, and I'm saying this as someone who has had an Android phone and an iPhone. I've had both a whole bunch. Like I've gone back and forth a lot. But all of the best app developers develop apps for the iPhone because it's just the biggest segment of smartphones. And as a result, that's where all the best app developers go. And it's the same way with WordPress. It's just where all of the different plugin developers spend their time because there's so many more people using it. And as a result, you can get plugins that can like change the whole look of your site. So for example, like our course, like you just saw, is built on a plugin. So we downloaded this little plugin that we paid $40 for or something like that. And then it turned our WordPress blog into a membership site. And so we can have our courses and all this stuff that you just saw there. Like, that's not like normal WordPress functionality. But we can just get this little plugin and put it in there and it'll do that. And there's like plugins that will do anything you can imagine with WordPress. And this is a WordPress only thing. So, now all that said, the course itself will help you, I would say, other than the Start Your WordPress blog now course. All of the other lessons are going to be relevant to a non-WordPress blog. So I don't think you have to have WordPress, but it's just our recommendation because I do think that if you're really serious about this, you are eventually going to want to be over there. But that said, if you have a blogger blog, like you will get a lot of value out of this course. It's not like it's exclusively for WordPress blogs. And Janice is asking, should you pay money for a domain name? Absolutely. It's like $10 a year. Well, yeah. And make sure you're paying like $10 a year. Don't pay $50 a year. I've heard some people getting ripped off. So whoever you're buying it through, make sure you're paying about $10, $12 a year. That's the fair rate. All right. Let's see a whole bunch of other questions here. All right. Chrissy's saying, I haven't been able to figure out how to allow people to comment on my page. All right. So I don't know exactly what we have going on, but that's definitely something. Yeah. And using plugins, like, yeah, these are things that you're going to learn in the Start Your WordPress blog now. If you give me more detail, I'm not a technical guy, but it's possible if you email me, I might be able to help you out with that. But that's also one of those great things in our Facebook mastermind that somebody will be able to help you out with one way or another. All right, Kate is asking, with a free blog analysis, assuming you can wait to have that after you get the blog start. Yeah, you can get it whenever you want. There's no time limit on that. And that's what I would recommend. I honestly would recommend diving into the course, going through, executing on the lessons, because what I've noticed is some students will jump into the course and they'll ask for a blog evaluation right away. And I'm happy to do it, but a lot of times, a lot of the feedback is stuff that's actually in the course. So if you go through the course, make those tweaks first, and then ask for feedback, then I can kind of give you extra stuff that isn't included in the course. You know what I mean? So anyway. All right. Amanda asks, how many affiliate networks do you use currently? Do you recommend only one or two or several? I'm signed up with like everyone I possibly can. I don't see any reason not to use as many as you possibly can. And so my approach has been, if I'm talking about any product, so like I my approach is, and I think this is the best way to do it, to talk about what you are excited about, regardless of whether you're going to get paid for it. I think that's the best way to build an audience that trusts you. And then after you've talked about what you're going to talk about, then see if you can monetize it with an affiliate program. So, because the truth is, honestly, most things you can monetize with an affiliate program. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I would approach it. And so what I've done is, we've written about so much stuff on our blog over the years. And every time I'm writing about a product or a resource, I'll go out and look and see if they have an affiliate program. And even the things that I don't have good things to say about, even the negative reviews, like I'll go see if they have an affiliate program and I'll link to them. And this is like what's hilarious about this. I've written negative reviews about products and then linked via an affiliate link. And I still have stuff that I literally, one blog post I wrote like 6 years ago, maybe even 7 years ago, there was a negative review of this product. And I still, to this day, am getting paid from their affiliate program from people landing on it, me saying, I don't like it, don't use it. And then they click over and sign up. So anyway, so it's just proof that even negative reviews you can actually earn from, so. All right, Leslie is asking a good question. Kate says, thanks for all the great answers. I'm in. Awesome. Can't wait to see you on the other side, Kate. Glad to have you. Leslie said, what is a good limit of topics to cover on your blog? Does it all have to be one topic? I think we actually have I might have a video or something I can share with you about this. I'll need to look. But basically, this is... It's a tricky question to answer. I think in general, it's a little bit easier when you focus on a single topic. And the main reason is a visitor to your blog can quickly come, know what your site's about, and it just targets your group better. Targets your reader base better than if you're writing about 100 different things. Now, that said, I think there are plenty of blogs that make it work, where they write about a whole bunch of different topics. So the truth is that you can make anything work. So I'm not saying that it can't work, but I'm trying to answer and tell you what's going to be the easier thing. And I think that's typically having one topic on your blog. Now, the kind of caveat to that is if you have related topics, things that are related, so let's say you're really into organic food and you're also into like natural health stuff, and maybe you're into, I don't know, like organic gardening or something. Like all of those have this common thread that one person who might be interested in one of those things is likely interested or decent potential of being interested in the other one. So something like that, I think that makes a whole lot more sense than possibly like a iPhone review blog where you talk about gardening, where you talk about knitting. It's like those are three complete different demographics, and so having a blog like that with those different topics just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. All right, so Amanda says, my blog is somewhat niche, still trying to figure out if these changes are things that will make sense for me. I don't remember what you were responding to. Oh, affiliate networks. Okay. All right. All right. Let me flip back over to, I think, yeah, Lauren, I'm going to let you just keep up with those and paste them over to Slack for me if you don't mind.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, great. All right. What's the difference between WordPress.org and WordPress.com? All right, so this is a really, really good one and a super confusing one, unfortunately. I don't know why WordPress did this, but WordPress.com is where you can go sign up for a free blog, and you can do it, and it's really easy, and you'll be up and running in about 3 minutes, maybe less. But here's the downside that they don't like to tell you. You can't put ads on that blog. So you can go over there and build this free blog and get up and running and be smiling, writing your blog post and write 10 blog posts, and then all of a sudden you'll discover when you go through our course and try to put AdSense up on your site, you'll be like, uh-oh, they aren't letting me. And so basically WordPress.com is where they host it on their site. So you don't have to do any hosting. You don't have to purchase hosting. But WordPress.org is where they just give you the software, the WordPress software, and then you go out and get your own web host. And the web host is kind of like like the analogy that's really good for this is like renting a house versus, or renting an apartment versus owning a piece of land. And so when you have a blog that's on blogger.com or wordpress.com or Wix or Squarespace or any of these other things, almost all of them, you are essentially renting an apartment. And so you are paying them, or you're doing it for free, either one. But you're not really paying for the hosting, and you don't have complete control. And so in theory, if blogger.com, that website goes down, your blog goes down. And this happened like just a couple years ago. Blogger was down for 6 or 7 hours, and every single blog that was on it was down, and you had no control, and that was just it. Blogger could, just like WordPress, change their rules and say, we don't allow ads anymore. Blogger could decide that they don't want this type of blog. And so maybe it's a political blog, or maybe it's a religious blog, and they could decide we don't want those on our platform anymore. And if you have a blog on there, like, you're subject to their terms and their rules. And this is just another reason why having a self-hosted on your own host WordPress blog just makes a lot of sense. Because it's like you own the land, and you can build a house on there, and you have complete control over it. You can paint the walls whatever color you want. You know, you can do whatever landscaping you want. Like, you have control, versus, you know, when you're on Blogger or WordPress.com, you're just really limited on what you can do. You know, and that's why WordPress.com, they won't even let you put ads on it. You know, so anyway. All right, so a couple other questions here. Can you turn a writing poetry blog into a full-time income? This is kind of like an impossible question to answer. I do think a poetry blog, I think there's an inherent challenge with that, at least from my vantage point, because I just haven't done anything like that. But you know, asking about any specific niche, what can be a full-time income, it's just really hard to say, because essentially what this is blogging is a business, you know. And just like saying, can I start a Chinese restaurant in Austin, Texas, and make a full-time living from it? Like, I don't know. I mean, if you do a good job, you can, but it might not be as good of a place as in Chinatown in New York or something, like, you know what I mean? So it's just a really difficult thing to answer. You know, and so there's another question here. Can you turn legal writing into full-time blogging? Same thing. Like, I will say that, you know, certain niches are better, easier to monetize. And I think poetry might be a little bit challenging. And the way you can kind of look at this is ask yourself, like, how much money do people spend? People who are interested in this topic, how much money do they spend on this topic? So for example, like, people who are interested in, you know, technology, so like a tech review blog or something like that, like, people are going to buy stuff. I mean, because that's just like what it's about. You're reviewing this technology, and it's like people who are techies, like, buy tech toys, you know what I mean? Or like a camera review site. It's like, clearly these people are buying stuff. Or like a golf blog, like, golfers buy stuff. They buy golf balls, they buy new golf clubs or golf bags or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's where poetry, I feel like I'm not sure. Like, maybe people buy poetry books. You know, maybe you can write a book of poems. You know, I think there's always creative ways to come up with something, but anyway, yeah, certain blogs are going to lend themselves to making more money than others. Like the legal writing one, based on this other question here, I think legal writing, I think there's a decent potential there, because legal stuff is like, you know, hiring lawyers is not cheap. And I don't know what you mean exactly by legal writing, but anyway, that's an area where people spend a lot of money on legal advice and things like that. So that possibly could have a lot of potential. How to monetize your blogs besides using AdSense? There are tons of ways to monetize without AdSense. And when I started, that was the only thing I knew of, and I did that for years. And I have slowly been working AdSense off my blogs more and more and more. And not because it's not working anymore, but because my shift and my focus is changing. I'm willing to leave some money on the table to create a little bit better of a user experience for my readers, and really just to focus more on my own products. Like, I'd rather sell my stuff than someone else's. So, you know, but in the meantime, like, putting AdSense on your blog at the beginning. Like every new blog I start, I put AdSense on it just because it's the easiest way to start making money from your blog. You know, literally they put ads on that line up with your article. So you just write the article and they put ads that are relevant to that. And I would argue even helpful to readers right next to your articles. So, you know, even with just a handful of views, you can start making money. And that's, I don't know, really, really fun. So, but yeah, and to answer your question, so like affiliate marketing, which we were talking about a little bit, is one of the best ways. That's just works really, really well. Where basically you're reviewing or talking about products and you're getting a commission if somebody clicks and buys over to that product. All right. Somebody's asking if I had to get a small business loan in case it didn't work. Absolutely not. Like this was 100% debt-free business. We've never taken any debt. We've never needed to. And the way I built my business was, I'm not buying anything until I make money for it. So, so that's just kind of how I approached it. And like, that's kind of like what we teach, through the course as well. Like, yeah, we're not pushing you to buy a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need. Like, I think one of the best things is just reinvesting, you know, and at the beginning, it's like you do have to buy some stuff. You have to buy WordPress or you have to buy hosting, you know, which might cost you a few dollars a month, or a domain name or whatever. So there's a little bit of out-of-pocket money, but in general, I like to get your blog, start earning some money, and then reinvest that money. Like, don't take it and go spend it on golf clubs or on a manicure. Take the money your blog earns and put it back into the blog, buy a better theme, maybe buy a subscription to this piece of software or whatever else, you know. So, all right. All right. So when you use WordPress from a host site like Bluehost, is it WordPress.org or WordPress.com? So it is WordPress.org. So if you're using Bluehost or HostGator, those are two hosts that I recommend for beginners. They're really, really great. They're just great beginner hosts. Like if you have a blog that's getting 100,000 visits on it, it might be time to move off to something a little bit bigger. But those are great cheap hosts. You know, they both have phone support, which is insane that they offer phone support for the probably $5 a month that you can get hosting with them. But basically that's WordPress.org. So you don't need to, if you sign up with HostGator, which is our main recommended host, you don't need to go over to WordPress.org to download the software. There's a one-click install, so you can get, actually, Lauren, if you wouldn't mind posting that setup thing in there. I think it's efficientblogging.com/ it just might be setup. Basically, where people get set up their blog. We have a free tutorial where we show you how to set up your blog. And at HostGator, they have a one-click install for WordPress. So you don't even need to download the software. If you just go through that, it'll take you through the whole thing. You can automatically install it. All right, so if we started on the WP, the WordPress no ad platform, dealt with WordPress.com, how and where do you switch? What hosting do I recommend? So yeah, HostGator is who we use. Like I have SeedTime, my main site is not on HostGator, like I said, because I think once you get big enough, it's probably time to move on to a bigger platform. But all of my other blogs, all of my mom's blogs, like everybody else I talk to, all their blogs are on HostGator. I really like HostGator a lot. They're really cheap. Their customer service, I've been using their customer service for probably 5 years. So I go on there in the chat box and ask them questions, or I call them and ask them questions. And they've just been really, really helpful for me. And they're not perfect, don't get me wrong, but I've tried out probably 6 or 7 blog hosts over the years, and they're just really, really good for the money. There's just no way around it. So if you're on WordPress.com, you can do an export out of WordPress.com, and then you can import that into WordPress once you get set up over at HostGator. And it's really simple to do. And we might even have a lesson on that in Start Your WordPress Blog. I'm not sure. But it's really simple to do. And if we don't, or if you don't get the course, just Google it. I think you should be able to find out how to export from WordPress.com and import to WordPress.org or something. All right, so the one thing I haven't done on my blog yet is AdSense. Does this course cover the ins and outs of setting it up? Absolutely. We talk a good bit about it because I have used it so much. We do talk a good amount about AdSense and like the best place to put your ads, Like literally, I increased my AdSense earnings 300% by moving one ad unit a couple inches. And so, yeah, you get the benefit of me and my like hundreds of AdSense tests if you join the course, because like I said, I was an analytical nerd, and I'm still running tests on AdSense, like just trying to find the absolute perfect setup to like increase earnings, and all of that hard work is shared in the course. So yeah, it would be a really nice head start for you. All right, you are welcome, Kate and Amanda. So that was for you. Lauren's kind of posting some of the questions over on the side, so that's why I'm not seeing some of your names. All right, so right now, Amanda, let's see how we're broken down here. So this is a question I get sometimes, and I will just kind of dispel this, but we are not selling this course because the blog is not working anymore. Like, that's just not why we're doing this. I actually just really enjoy teaching people, and I did want a different stream of revenue, and I like that I have more control with selling my own products instead of just having AdSense and selling other people's products, because I get to create my own product that I can make as awesome as I want, and I really enjoy that. I know it's just really fun creating something, and then having that be a source of revenue. And so that's why we're selling this course. So it's not because we aren't earning with our blog. We're still earning really, really well with our other blog. The current breakdown right now, AdSense is probably, I would guess 15% of our total revenue right now. Affiliate stuff is probably, I don't know, 50 or 60%. And then like some of our products, like different courses, different books. Like, so we have 4 different books that we have out on Amazon, 3 or 4. I keep forgetting. And then we have a couple different courses that we offer. And so, yeah, so we just have a lot of different product stuff that we go on. The product stuff, I'm guessing, is probably 30% maybe. So yeah, so the majority of our ad stuff comes from affiliate stuff. So AdSense is probably 15%. Then we have another ad network that might be another 10%. Affiliate stuff is probably 30 or 40%. I don't have the numbers exact, so I'm just kind of grasping here because I haven't looked at it in a while. But we do have, one of the lessons in the thing is just like my breakdown. And that was when I recorded that lesson. It was a little bit before we kind of dove into the selling a few more courses that we've been selling lately. But yeah, like what I've shifted with Amanda is shifting a bit from kind of selling or just doing AdSense to affiliate stuff. So AdSense is great because it's really simple. You can put it on one time and never think about it again and just make your money. But the affiliate stuff just takes a little bit more work because you might be writing an article specifically reviewing this product, or you need to go back to an article and then update that one article with an affiliate link. So it just takes a little bit more time. And not that it takes much time, but it just takes more time to kind of do that. And but if you have that time, you can earn more as an affiliate than you can with an AdSense ad, because AdSense is the middleman. You know what I mean? Like, essentially, they're taking a cut. And if you can work directly with that advertiser as an affiliate, then you're going to be able to pay a little bit more. So Gina is asking, can you teach how to sell your own product on the blog? All right, so we have. I'm trying to think of what we have in the course. I think we have some of this in the course. I'm having a hard time remembering all the different lessons, but yeah, this is definitely something that is a lesson that we're going to create more lessons on this because we've had more and more students ask about it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not something I can kind of really dive in completely at this point, but yeah, I can show you like everything. And this is something that, we can definitely talk about via the email consulting, or I can give you a peek at, how we've done things with our actual thing. So if you wanted to set up like a membership site, like we have with Pro Blogging Secrets here, I can show you how we do that, tell you all the plugins that we used for that, and just really just give you our entire process. Like, so yeah, so I'm happy to share that. Yeah, just let me know. So Diana, welcome to the course. Glad to have you. Let's see if I missed anything else. Yeah, if I miss any of your questions, like shoot them back in there or let us know. We can get back to you tomorrow if we don't get back tonight. But I am happy to answer any other questions if anybody has any. And for those of you who are still on with us, I want to thank you for coming and joining us on this. And regardless of whether you join us in the course, I really, really hope you take what you've learned tonight. Because I'm telling you, like this stuff, don't overlook the seemingly, simplicity of what we talked about. Like I'm telling you, I struggled with some of this stuff for years, and it really, really makes a big difference. We can, and the focus one, I think, is probably the most important. I think that's why we led with that. But just being able to kind of say no to stuff and ignore the noise, it just really, really can make such a big difference. And then just being able to not spend all your time writing on your blog and to spend more time promoting it. Like it's just, it's just not something that most bloggers default to. Most bloggers just default to writing great content over and over and over again. And unfortunately, it takes a little bit more than that. So anyway, those are two things I just want to make sure you leave with and you actually run out and do as you're kind of growing your blog. Catherine, you are welcome. I appreciate that. All right. So Silvio says, so the offer is good for 48 hours minus the bring your friend thing, minus the bring your friend thing, and minus the blog evaluation. So those offers, I don't know how much time we have left on that, Lauren. Do you know? Probably are getting close to that.
Yeah, we have 13 minutes.
We'll push it till 10 o'clock. If anybody needs a little bit more time to talk to a spouse or something like that, I completely understand that. But the rest of the offer we will keep open for at least 48 hours. We'll try to send an email or two afterwards, just for anybody who might be interested. All right, so Gina is asking, one of the questions was that I was thinking about doing a parenting early childhood blog. Man, I could use that. We have a 3-year-old, so maybe I will be asking you some questions. There seems to be a lot of those. Yeah, so here's the thing. This is the thing that I think a lot of people miss. A lot of people are looking for a blog, looking to start a blog that no one else has done before. And to be honest, I think that's like the worst idea for almost everyone. Because the problem is if you're doing a blog that no one else has, A, you don't know if it works. And B, like it's hard for you to find other bloggers to kind of connect with. Like that was such a huge part that was just such a huge part of my getting to a full-time status, was having other bloggers around me who I could talk to and bounce ideas off of, in which, we have a good group in our mastermind Facebook group of other bloggers, but it's not broken out by niche. And so if you can find people in your own niche, like that's just so helpful. And when you see a niche that's got a lot of blogs in it, it's actually a really good thing, because to me, it means that if a lot of people are doing it, there's probably some money to be made in it. And so that's a really, really good thing. And then also you're going to be able to connect with a whole bunch of other bloggers. So personally, I don't ever tell people that there's too many blogs doing something. And there's always a way to differentiate yourself just by being unique and doing what you're doing, and being your own voice. And it's okay. This is something that I still struggle with, but it's okay that there's more than one blog with the same thing. It's okay that there's more than one article about the same topic. Consumers or readers don't care about that. You and we all feel like, I want my thing to be the only thing in the world like this. And, and in some ways, like what we've done with Seed Time, it's like, we're in Dave Ramsey's shadow, and it's, and we're trying to do this thing and help people pay off debt. And I feel like I've spent my entire time in Dave Ramsey's shadow. And it's like, why am I even doing this? Because Dave Ramsey is doing it and he's doing it better, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, like some people don't want to go listen to Dave Ramsey, and they want to listen to what we're doing, and they want to listen to me. And that's like completely okay. And even if they are listening to Dave Ramsey, sometimes they want to hear just a different voice. And the two can work together. It doesn't mean that only one person can be there. So I absolutely think that's not a problem. I think it's probably a good thing that you see a lot of blogs there. So anyway, hope that helps. And yeah, the fact that you have a degree, I think that's awesome. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. You absolutely don't need a degree. I've like most bloggers that I've found are more amateurs and who are just really enthusiastic about what they're doing. And so I think that is, yeah, I think it's okay either way. I think if you have credentials, I think you can use that to your advantage. I think if you don't, it'll help you connect with people on a more of a beginner's stage or something like that. All right. Amanda is asking if I'm familiar with the fashion blogging industry. This might sound funny, but a little bit, yes. My wife actually ran a style blog for about 2.5 years. And she, quote, retired a few years ago when we had our first child. But I do know a bit about it. I know a few of the different ways that fashion bloggers monetize. Yeah, so I know a handful. You know, I don't know as much about that as I do the kind of personal finance space, but yeah, I do know a little bit about that. And to be honest, I've just been doing this long enough and talked to enough bloggers and had enough students and everything else that there's a lot of different niches that I have a, I don't know, at least a peek into. I don't know that it's the most saturated blogging industry. I know there's a lot of style bloggers doing it, but I also know that there's a lot of money to be made in that niche too. Yeah, especially if you can use just a little bit of business acumen, because I feel like a lot of the style bloggers yeah, don't think much about monetizing. So I think it's a great opportunity. All right. Kate says, thank you. Well, you're welcome. Do you talk about how you use Evernote to collect ideas, et cetera, in the course? Everyone said to use it, but I have no clue how to. Yeah, Evernote's awesome. I use Evernote a whole lot. I honestly don't remember if I have, if we have a lesson in our Evernote or not. I mean, because it's not an Evernote course, and honestly, I have a buddy who has a course specifically about how to use Evernote, and it's an entire course. So like, we're not going to dive in that deep or anything like that. But I know I have at least a free lesson, if it's not in the course, about using Evernote that I can get you. So shoot me an email or shoot Lauren an email, and we can get you hooked up with that. All right. Amanda was talking about challenges growing traffic. Yeah. So what did Linda used to use? Well, I know Linda did. Linda's my wife. I'm sorry. All right. Let me answer Gina's question real quick. Okay. So Gina says, I'm signing up for the package now, and it says it's an extra $47 a month for the email consulting. That is extra additional email consulting. So if you want to add on additional months of email consulting, you can do that. And that, yeah. So if you just want more contact with me via email, you can add those on. And you'll see that we have a couple all access packages as well that we offer in there. So if you want to be able to get on our monthly coaching calls, you can do that. And I think there's other kind of goodies in there if you join us in that. So all right, Kate says, got to go now. Excited to get started in the course. Awesome. Glad to have you, Kate. Amanda, let's see. Yes, reward style, shop style. I think she used both of those kind of for earning. In terms of traffic, I'm trying to remember. I know she used a couple of those little, there were a couple of networks that she used that sent some good traffic, but she also did some guest posting. And that was like what really kicked her into high gear was guest posting. And I honestly didn't think that would work in the fashion or the style blogger world, but she did. And anyway, yeah, she did. So, all right, Leslie says, hi, Bob. I just ordered the course. How do I know if I can get the refer a friend for free? You definitely get the refer a friend for free. You're good there, for sure. As far as the other thing, as long as you're one of the first 10, then we will get that for you. You are welcome, Amanda. All right. Sylvia, sorry, Sylvia, I missed your thing. Pastor and chiropractor, 2 blogs or 1? Any hints? Okay. Those feel very different to me. They feel like very different niches. I mean, I think you could do some sort of spin on chiropractic and, and Christianity. I mean, and that's kind of what I did to some extent with Seed Time. It's personal finance, and we tackle it kind of from a Christian perspective. Yeah, I mean, it's just tricky. So if you did roll them up into one thing, well, let me say this. I don't think it should be a pastor blog where you're like coaching other pastors, and then a chiropractic blog where you're talking about the benefits of chiropractic. Like, that just feels like way too different to me. But if it was chiropractic where you're talking about those benefits, but you're kind of tying in aspects of Christianity into that and something like that, I think that possibly could work. It's going to, narrow your niche down a little bit, but yeah, I mean, anyway, I think you could possibly do that, or you could just break them out into two different blogs. And something like, so for as much as I was talking earlier about kind of focusing, I do like to throw things up on the wall and see what sticks. And so, like the social media thing we talked about before, like I signed up for every social media account and I spent a little time on all of them, and then saw like, where am I getting results? And then once I found, okay, I'm getting results on Pinterest, I'm diving in, and I am going to spend all of my energy on Pinterest. I'm not going to pay attention to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Plus, none of it. I'm not paying attention to any of it. I'm just focusing on Pinterest. And so I think you can do that same thing with the blog. Like if you want to start two blogs, I mean, in some ways I hate saying that, but you can do that. You can start two blogs and then see what happens, see which one kind of takes off, and then just kind of go from there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So, all right. I don't know if I missed any other questions or not, but either way, I think we're going to wind things down. I appreciate everybody coming. So glad you stopped by. I love hanging out with y'all. Yeah. And we will do this again. And yeah, let me know. Here's what I would love. If you can do this for me, I would really, really appreciate this. I would like to hear what kind of results you get from what you learned tonight. So again, regardless of whether you join us in the course, I would just like to hear if this helped you. Shoot me an email, especially once you start implementing some of this stuff. That would mean a lot to me. It would help me out a lot. So anyway, that's that. So we will call it a night. You are welcome, Silvio. And yeah, just have a great night, everybody. And we will talk again soon. All right. Take care.